Nobody can stop what has been destined. Call me King Kong, I've been beating my chest in. Taking over kingdoms east and to the west is. This is only the beginning, can anyone stop me? No. Why? I'm king of the jungle. Jungle, jungle. I got the heart and the muscle. Muscle, muscle. I'm king of the jungle.
Welcome to the capital of Alberta. The Edmonton Bubble is home to the World Junior Hockey Championship for the next 2 weeks. Before the tournament officially kicks off Christmas Day, we have some World Junior warm-up games for you and a good one on tap here between the U.S. and Finland. And thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laura Dyken, joined alongside our analyst Craig Button, and expectations with these two teams always very high. A lot of talent will be on display here, and with plenty more on what to expect in this game, let's throw it over to the two calling all the action. Here's Ray Ferraro and Gord Miller.
The mental hopes of the United States last year ended in the quarterfinals, a 1-0 loss to the Finns, and Ray, for 8 players returning for the U.S., a chance now for revenge.
That tournament fell flat for them, and in a hurry. You mentioned the shutout loss that eliminated them in the tournament, and Cole Caufield is one of those 8 returnees. The Montreal Canadiens first rounder who plays at the University of Wisconsin had a really quiet tournament, just 1 goal last year, and really wasn't a factor at all. He's changed his game a little bit, tried to expand it. He hunts the puck a little more. He doesn't wait so much on the outside. And they say that he's shooting the puck even better than last year. Cole Caufield has to have a good tournament for the United States this year.
In a decade known as the 20-teens, these two nations won the most World Junior gold medals, 3 each.
Well, here's a name that might be familiar, Anton Lundell. We saw him in 2019 when the tournament was in Victoria and Vancouver. Missed last year because of injury, but Craig, he is back here in Edmonton, and he is the captain of this Finnish team.
Yeah, no surprise that he's the captain. He was also instrumental with the winning assist on the goal that led to the gold medal for Finland, and they certainly missed him last year. Anton Lundell is a player that's really complete in all areas of the game, offensively and defensively. I know myself, I questioned how good his offensive upside was. I'll tell you what, he is answering those questions playing in the SM Liga this year. He has lit it up offensively, and coming back to this tournament, he's excited, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to take all the offensive prowess he's demonstrated in the SM Liga and bring it here to a team for Finland that needs his offense.
Yeah.
And he's not the only guy, but he'll be the lead guy.
Kind of always what we've been seeing with Finland, the strength really in that defense and with goaltending, and the offense is going to have to step up as well. And Anton Lundell, no one better to do that and lead things off for the Finns. Well, let's reveal now our starting goaltenders for the game here this evening, and leading the way for the Americans, no surprise, it's Spencer Knight, only the 3rd U.S. goaltender to appear in 3 World Juniors. He'll be going up against Kari Piroinen of Finland. Well, we are ready for puck drop here in the Edmonton Bubble. It is the most wonderful time of the year. It's the U.S. and Finland in World Junior warm-up action on TSN.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Welcome back to Edmonton and the World Junior warm-up. 2 days of pre-tournament competition. leading up to the start of the tournament on Christmas Day. And tonight, it's the United States and Finland in a rematch of last year's quarterfinal won by the Finns 1-0. Referees are Fraser Lawrence and Mike Langen. Linesmen are Adam Harris and Kelsey Mahoney. One of the unusual features of these warm-up games is we'll get different referees and linesmen in every period because of course, they haven't had a chance to warm up either. Starting goaltender for Finland is Kari Pirinen. The 19-year-old is undrafted, played last year 1 game, got the win against Kazakhstan, and for the United States, it is Spencer Knight, the 19-year-old from Darien, Connecticut, a first-round pick of the Florida Panthers in 2019. Playing in his 3rd World Junior for the U.S. The head coach is Antti Pennanen, 41-year-old, first year as the head coach of the Finnish national junior team. And for the United States, Nate Lehman was an assistant in 07-09 for the United States. The head coach at Providence College was a national champion there in 2015. Extended rosters for this game tonight. Normally, the World Junior teams bring 20 skaters and 3 goaltenders because of the COVID changes. Each team has 22 skaters and 3 goaltenders, and both teams are dressing 22 skaters tonight. Puck down to the U.S. zone. Henry Flynn throws that around. And back at the point is Ville Heinola. The Winnipeg first-round pick got that through, and a rebound flashed on there by Finland's Roby Järventie. Heinola is playing his 3rd World Junior for the Finns, member of the 2019 gold medal team. And a penalty coming to Team USA. Arthur Kaljev's going to go off. And so the Finns will get an early power play.
Yeah, it's going to be a check from behind for Kaliev, who had 5 goals in the tournament last year.
USA number 28, 2 minutes for checking from behind and 10-minute misconduct.
And it's a 2 and 10. Wow. And, you know, Gord, we had talked a little bit about the excitement for these kids to get into a game for the first time for a lot of them in a long, long time. And Kaliev's now going to sit there for the next 12 minutes or so.
Kaliev hasn't played since mid-March. He plays for the Hamilton Bulldogs of the Ontario Hockey League, so hasn't played this year. Of course, their season was called off in mid-March last year, so a long wait to get back out, and now a long wait in the penalty box.
Brett Berard will serve the 2-minute minor for the United States.
So the Finns to the power play, brought up by Brad Lambert, one of the players to watch for Finland. Yes, for Finland. He's a 16-year-old eligible for the 2022 draft. His dad, Ross, a Canadian, spent 13 years playing in Europe. His uncle, Lane Lambert, a longtime assistant coach in the NHL with Barry Trotz. Stanley Cup winner a couple of years ago with the Washington Capitals on that staff. Lambert feeds it back across. Here is Parssinen. Juuso Parssinen. Down to the goal mouth he goes for Henri Nikkanen. Back for Parssinen. And Parssinen feeds that back to Niemela. Niemela takes a return pass, goes across. Parssinen, hard shot, scores! Juuso Parssinen, a power play goal, and the Finns take a 1-0 lead, 1 minute and 26 seconds in.
Really good crisp puck movement by the Finns, and Parssinen's going to take the one-time pass and shoot it right through Spencer Knight. Nice toe drag by Niemela. He pulls the American penalty killer Matthew Boldy over to the left with him. That opens up room for Parssinen to step into this one-timer, and his shot goes straight through Spencer Knight, and the Finnish power play doesn't take very long at all to get on the board.
And Ray, you wonder, you know, the European teams have been playing together this year. They've had tournaments to play in. They've had training camps. They've had national team breaks during their schedule to be together. You wonder if the European teams won't have an advantage in the early going here, having played together.
I don't think there's any question, Gord. It seems almost like the round-robin portion is going to be an extended training camp for a lot of teams. While they'll be fighting for a position, they have to find out who's ready to play, who can play, who can pick up their game in such a short period of time.
Brock Faber back to pick it up. An LA Kings second-round pick goes across to Ryan Johnson, who's an LA native. His dad, Craig, spent a decade in Southern California playing for the Kings and then the Anaheim Ducks.
One of my wingers, I think I sent him into player development. His dad could fly, absolutely fly.
Mikko from last year's team places back up. And the puck looks in the corner. Dug out there by Uhaka. And now chipped out by Matthias Mantakivi. Long shooting off the end boards, picked up by Emil Viro. And Viro's pass is chipped out by the hulking centerman Samuel Helenius. Yes, the son of Sammy Helenius. The apple didn't fall far from that gigantic tree. The son is 6'6". His dad was the same height, a defenseman in the NHL for 6 years.
Samuel's a draft-eligible player this year.
Järventie turns and shoots, and Roma Järventie, an Ottawa second-round pick, put that high and wide. Now a point shot taken by Niemela. It's juggled, but Spencer Knight has it.
Well, Knight, not an easy start. Gets a power play goal against, and then a deflected shot that he has to handle. Good traffic in front of the net, and Knight's looking around Nikkanen in front, and as he looks to his left, the Parsonage shot is hammered right through his legs, and the Finns get the 1-0 lead.
Spencer Knight had a tough debut in last year's World Junior Championship, gave up 5 to Canada. Now chipped in by Bobby Brink. Brink taken down. Parsonen from Niemela and Lambert is the scoring play on the power play for Team Finland. The Finns have 3 medals in the last 14 years at the World Junior Championship. They're all gold. 2014, 2016, and 2019 in Vancouver. Brisson plays it back to York. Cam York, a long shot. That's knocked away by Pyronen. First good scoring chance for the United States. Juuso Parsonen. The Finnish goal scorer feeds that down. Knight knocks it away. And Jake Sanderson, the Ottawa first-round pick, moves it ahead. His dad, Jeff, a longtime National Hockey League player, as the play is called offside at the American line.
Well, we've talked a little bit about Spencer Knight already here in the first couple of minutes, and we'll see Knight a lot in this tournament. A first-round pick by the Florida Panthers in 2019. He's got all the earmarks of a franchise goaltender. It will be interesting that Devin Levi, who was Canada's starter tomorrow, is a 7th-round pick by the Florida Panthers in this year's draft. And somewhere down the line, you either end up as teammates or you start butting heads looking for ice time in the organization.
Well, meantime, Sergei Bobrovsky's entering the 2nd year of a 7-year deal. Knight, by the way, is not yet signed by the Panthers. And here is Sanderson with it. Nick Sanderson, a freshman at the University of North Dakota. Played some minor hockey in Calgary. He was a product of the U.S. National Team Development Program. He was the 2020 USA Hockey Junior Player of the Year. Turcotte plays it back in. Alex Turcotte looks in the corner for Sam Colangelo. That bounced away from him. And the puck back to center ice, picked up by Drew Helleson. Swinging back with it is Matthias Mantakivi, a Boston pick. His first international tournament for Finland. Finns will open against Germany on Christmas Day. And the United States will close out Christmas night with a hotly anticipated game against Russia. Here's Alex Turcotte. At the Zegras. Zegras in, shoots, and the save made by Pyronen. Good dash here for Trevor Zegras, who led the tournament last year with 9 assists. Turcotte battling for it. Bounces down to Mantakivi, who plays it back to center ice. And here's Turcotte back with it. Turcotte got steamrolled to the line. And it's picked up by Helleson. Drew Helleson. Across to Zegras. Oh, what a pass. Caufield winds in. Caufield spins and shoots. Pyronen makes the save.
That's a good look from Zegras, and a little bit of a glimpse of what Caufield does when he gets in the offensive zone. He holds the puck. He slithers around till he finds the shooting angle and gets a good shot on goal.
Now Caufield in the forecheck has that moved away by Emil Viro. And Knight back out to play it. Leaves it there for Jackson Lacombe. 14 different U.S. states are represented on this American team. Here's Caufield back with it. Over to Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Knocked down to the line is Matthew Boldy, and the U.S. regroups. Back to pick it up is Brock Faber. Most of the American players, like the Canadians, have only played a handful of games, if at all, this year. As that shot taken there by Bobby Brink was blocked. And Brink picks up the loose puck in the corner, feeds it back in front. And that was tapped wide by John Farinacci. Now the Finns break out 3-on-2. In comes Lambert with it. Lambert winds in, drops it back, and a quick shot there. Taken by Ronnie Hirvonen, and it's turned away by Knight.
There's no easing into this one. This is a pretty good pace here for these teams who have been just, like everyone else in this tournament, chomping at the bit to get going.
Got loose along the boards, battling for there is Putia. That's Putia. Had that knocked down. There's Patrick Moynihan after it. And Moynihan tries to dig it free. Centering pass bounced away from Brett Berard. And now brought back to center ice by Putia. Bouncing puck goes back in the corner. And the pass for Putia just missed. Moving in for the loose puck was Aku Ratti. That bounced away from him. Last year the Finns had Aku and Atu Ratti, the brothers playing on the team. Atu, the younger of the two, was cut this year.
He played good as an underager last year, under a little bit of stress with the injury to Anton Lundell. The Finns were short at center, and the younger Ratti did a really nice job.
Aku Ratti with the shot, steered away easily by Knight. And York has it back. Cam York wearing the captain's C tonight. As Berard moves in, that goes wide. And here is Ratti back with it. Arizona 5th-round pick. Ratti winds his way in. It was a hammer blow for the Finns last year to lose Anton Lundell. It was so good for them in their gold medal win in 2019. And behind the play, Zegras was knocked out. He's shaken up. And he's slow to get to his feet. And Zegras limping as he goes back to the American bench. That would be a terrible development for Team USA. As he limps off.
Well, that's not anything that the United States is comfortable with. They're thin up the middle as it is, with the loss of John Beecher and Thomas Bordeleau, who were ineligible after testing. Beecher tested positive for COVID. Bordeleau was his roommate and was out as a result. And here's this play. It's a little push, and Zegras is going to get tied up, and you see his right knee goes into the boards. No way to protect himself. It seems like he's all right as he stays on the U.S. bench.
That was Lundell who put it in. Final rosters are named for this tournament on Christmas Eve. So if someone does get hurt in a warm-up game, they can be replaced. Someone can be brought in, but they would have to quarantine, depending where they came from for how long.
The U.S. doesn't have any more forwards. They lost those two right before the tournament, and they ended up with 13 forwards and 9 defensemen on this roster.
Matthew Beniers winds in. Beniers, the youngest player on this American team, throws it back in the corner for Matthew Bolden. Back at the point is Lacombe. Lacombe, a centering pass. And Boldy taps it back, but back at center ice, Ryan Johnson has to regroup.
Oh, what a nice move that was.
He can fly too. Drops it back for Boldy. For Johnson, he knocks it back down. And the shot by Farinacci is gloved by Pyronen. You're watching pre-tournament action for the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship.
Here's Ryan Johnson, a Buffalo Sabres first-rounder who plays at Minnesota in the NCAA. You see him start that rush to Turcotte. Here's Zegras with a scoring chance. All started off with a breakout of Ryan Johnson. Watch this skating. A little pivot, an open up, and into the zone. And the United States is going to get another scoring chance off of the footwork of Ryan Johnson.
He's a defenseman, unlike his dad. His dad played for Team USA in the 91 World Junior Championship, the 94 Olympics as well. Pyronen quickly gloves that and hangs on for a faceoff.
One of the things I think we're going to find in this tournament, Gord, with no fans here, is you can hear everything that's going on. Nate Lehman was talking to his players at the commercial break, saying, we're playing real hockey now. When there's a turnover, stop on it. Get to the puck, move the puck. And it's funny, you know, you can practice and do all these short little games as much as you want, but when the other guys are wearing a different sweater, the pace picks up. And he wants his team to get up to speed.
Johnson takes down Brad Lambert in the corner. Lambert digging for it. It bounced off the official. And now Lambert digging back for it. Loose in the corner, picked up by Johnson. Slides it ahead to Faber. Brink wide, he goes for Brink. That pass was off the stick back behind the goal. Digging it out is Brendan Brisson, the son of former Quebec League player and prominent player agent Pat Brisson.
Probably known more as being an agent than a former player, right?
Yes. Well, not every player in this tournament had Sidney Crosby come to his 60th birthday party, so one of Pat Brisson's clients. Now picked up by Nikkanen, Henry Nikkanen. Leaves the puck in behind the goal for Matthias Rajaniemi. And the Finns will slowly bring it out. Clevin has that bounce off his skate. Putia got taken out along the sideboards, and a Moynihan trying to move it ahead, but Putia picked up the loose puck. Rajaniemi lays it back down. Clevin goes back. Tyler Clevin, Ottawa's second-round pick, moves it back down to the finish zone, and swinging back is Ruben Rafka. He gets crunched in behind the boards in a forecheck by Brett Berard. Bouncing puck in front, just missed Alex Turcotte. And Turcotte got put with a high stick from Rocky, penalty coming out of Finland.
There's good news for the U.S. is that Zegras back on the ice.
Run with the extra skater on for the U.S. Peels back, and here's Zegras with it. 9th overall pick to Anaheim in the 2019 draft. Zegras had that knocked away. The play's offside. Now the United States will go to the power play with 8:16 to go in the first period. 1-0 Finland leads here in Edmonton.
The United States will get their first power play as Akurati is in the penalty box for high-sticking Turcotte here. As Turcotte goes to the puck, the stick comes up from Ratty and catches Alex Turcotte just under the visor. So the U.S. gets their first power play. They'll try to match the power play goal the Finns scored inside of 2 minutes in this game.
And the story of that quarterfinal game, Ray, the loss for the U.S. against the Finns was the power play's inability to break through.
And a power play that is dangerous. And
here's York across the top of it. Takes the return pass to Kaliev.
Kaliev can shoot it. An absolute bomb.
Now walking right in front is Matthew Boldy to flip that wide. Here's York back with it. York to Kaliev. Moves it back to Zegras, a long shot. That was blocked and shot down the ice by Ville Heinola.
Interesting setup. Last year they had Zegras at the top of the circles in the bumper position. He led the tournament with 9 assists. This year they've got Cole Caufield in the middle, more involved in the power play than he was last year.
Boldy back on it. York goes in deep. That was knocked away by Mikko Kokkonen. Now Kaliev feeds it down to Boldy. Back for Kaliev, has room, in, shoots, hit the side of the goalpost. Kaliev has it back for York. York swings across. Zegras a centering pass for Caufield. The stick was tied up by Kokkonen. Zegras back to York, a long wrist shot, and through the traffic, Pirinen makes the save.
Good stop from Pirinen is Cam York, who will run this U.S. power play, takes the point shot. Watch this play from Matthew Boldy. Minnesota Wild first rounder. He's below the goal line. When it comes back, he's going to spin to the dark side of the ice. There's nothing below him. There's nowhere to go, but when he spins, now his stick goes from the goal line to about 5 feet in front of it. He just misses on the far side. It's a pretty nifty play for Boldy to make.
Face off one, the long point shot taken there by Bobby Brink. Deflected, and Pirinen makes the glove save.
The United States will use 8 forwards on their power play, 4 forwards on each group. There was Brink, who was able to get the one-timer, didn't get much on it, and Pirinen was able to make a pretty easy glove save. You mentioned Gordy played 1 game in the tournament last year, a 7-1 win over Kazakhstan.
Sanderson feeds it across, and a hard shot by Brisson is hammered wide. Brink trying to dig it free. The Philadelphia Flyers second-round pick. Had that knocked away, and Knight is back to pick it up. Turcotte gets a hard bump there from Kalenius. And now Brink winds his way in. Brink got spun around, and the puck stolen by Mantekivi, who sends it down the ice. And Knight being watched there, almost lost it to Hellenius with the long reach. He's 6'6", 183 pounds.
He's going to be a big man when he fills out.
Well, like we said, his dad was a looming presence for a long time in the NHL.
155 games in the NHL.
2 shots for the U.S. on that power play. Remains 1-0 Finland. Finn scored in a power play a minute and a half into this first period. And now Johnson spins it back across and takes the return pass. And Farinacci goes hunting for it. And Moynihan tries to dig it free. Still loose. Diving for it was Landon Slaggert. That rolled away from him, and now the Finns break up 4 wide. Koponen fires it in off the end boards. And Simon Tybel just missed on that. Simon Tybel loose behind the American net. A centering pass that's knocked away by Moynihan. Now scoop back up. And long shot taken there by Lundell. That was deflected wide by Knight. And now they're going to call a trip here against the Finns. Lundell will go off, and the U.S. is going back to the power play.
Anton Lundell back to the penalty box. A high sticking penalty before. Now a hooking call as he gets his stick tied up with Patrick Moynihan. The U.S. had 2 shots in their first power play. Shot 7-7 in this first period.
Lundell's a Florida first-round pick, 12th overall, and he is a terrific young prospect for them.
Has had an outstanding start to his season playing in the Finnish Elite League. Had 12 goals in 17 games before he left for the Finnish World Junior Tournament.
That knocked down at the line by Caufield. Great job by him across to Zegras. The return pass tipped in front by Boldy, and Kiernan makes the stop. The U.S. had 2 shots on goal in the last power play. Zegras to Boldy. Back to that pass, handcuffed Kaliev. Couldn't get it away. Kaliev back out after spending over 10 minutes in the penalty box, serving his 2-minute minor, which was shortened by the power play goal and the 10-minute misconduct. Caufield down to Zegras, to York. Kaliev back to York. Kaliev feeds it down to Boldy. Back for Kaliev, a quick shot, Kiernan save. Rebound, tap wide by Caufield. Zegras. Let that pass go off the skate, now held at the point by York. York feeds across, Zegras back with it. Centering pass for Caufield, a hard shot. And the save is made by Kiernan.
Well, Caufield with a couple of scoring chances, 1 on a rebound, 1 on the pass from Zegras. Boldy's going to start with this to go to Kaliev. There's the one-timer. It's Caufield trying to lean on the rebounder. He ends up cueing it wide. And here he'll make himself available. He doesn't quite get out high enough, so he's got to stop, pivot, and shoot that pass from Zegras. If he takes one more step to his right, he's going to be able to one-time it, and he won't get bothered by that back penalty killing.
Finns win the draw and send it down the ice. Finns won the last men's world championship.
When was that?
2019 tournament.
I know, doesn't it just all seem like the calendar's been turned on its ear?
Here's Sanderson. Plays it back in the corner for Brisson. Sanderson. Back to Brisson, freshman at Michigan. Feeds that down, walking out is Turcotte with a chance. And Kiernan makes the stop on that. Here's Lacombe with it. Lacombe feeds it back across. Brisson with a chance. And a glove save by Kiernan.
Yeah, it's been a sharp start for Kari Kiernan. 10 stops on the period for him, and here Brendan Brisson is going to take a nice crisp pass across the seam from Jackson Lacombe, but he can't quite get it into the spot to one-time it. And as he stops it, that gives Kiernan plenty of time to get across the ice to make the glove stop. 5 power play shots for the U.S. They moved the puck pretty well on that, on their 2-man advantages. It's been a good period of hockey.
Sanderson knocks it down behind the goal. 5th overall by Ottawa in the last NHL draft. Ottawa had 2 picks in the top 5. So Tim Stützle of Germany, 3rd overall. Now, Levin walked in. That was knocked away from him and played back to center ice where Drew Hellison's back to pick it up. Chipped in by San Colangelo. And falling behind the play was Matthew Beniers. Robbie Jorventi plays it back to center ice in a battle for it there. And the loose puck picked up by Beniers. Eligible for the 2021 NHL draft is Matthew Beniers. Now Colangelo to Beniers. Up ahead to Berard. Picked up a quick chance there for Beniers. And Kiernan got a piece of that. Colangelo got spun around. A penalty coming up. And the U.S. is going back to the power play, as a kneeing penalty will be called against the Finns. And Emil Viro will go off.
Well, they're getting their penalty killers a workout here. As there's the penalty as Viro
Finland
gets...
minor, number 6, 2 minutes, knee.
He gets his left leg extended. The Detroit 3rd rounder takes a penalty, and for the 3rd straight time, the U.S. back to the power play.
Red Wings have 7 prospects playing in this World Junior, with a potential for 4 more. 3 tested positive for COVID, couldn't come, and another decided to play over in Europe.
That's Moritz Seider, who is having a heck of a season in Europe. Oh, there's another one.
Caufield with a high stick, and another penalty coming to Finland. So a 5-on-3 coming now for 1 minute and 53 seconds here late in the first period.
Wait to see if it's a 2 or a 4. I believe it's just 2.
Finland penalty, number 19, 2 minutes, high sticking.
There's the penalty as
Terry Pohaka will go off. And so you talked about getting a chance to practice the power play. Well,
now we'll roll out the 5-on-3 and see what the U.S. does here on this.
Off the draw, the line is held by Caufield. Back to York. York across to Zegras. York, Zegras winds and fires. Perrin save, and he gloves the rebound with Boldy in there digging.
Perrin's been on it tonight in this first period here. Been challenged on the power play. That's 6 shots on this power play. A little give and go between York and Zegras, and Zegras' one-timer is stopped. But when the one-timer comes like that, there's no traffic, and Perrin can lock into it.
York across to Caufield. The Americans have the last 10 shots in the period. York to Caufield. Caufield down to York.
That Kaliev in the middle. He can really shoot it here on the 5-on-3. He can one-time this.
Caufield to Boldy. Now Boldy at the goal line, back to Caufield. Feeds it back. Zegras across he goes. York to Zegras. Back across Caufield, a one-time shot. Kiernan got a piece of that. Kokkonen taking it hard. And now Zegras with it. Winds in. Caufield wins possession. Feeds it down the centering pass to Zegras. In, shoots. That was blocked by Kokkonen. And the puck goes over the glass and out of play.
That's a great block by Kokkonen. He was shoved into the boards earlier in the shift. He had to get up, get himself back into position, and he reads this play. And the real key to this is not leaving his feet too early, or otherwise you're down basically another half a player. But Kokkonen stays up on his feet till the shot is delivered by Zegras, and the Toronto Maple Leaf 3rd rounder from 2019, who had a couple of goals in last year's World Junior, was able to make the block.
53 seconds to go in the first Finnish penalty. 1 minute remaining now in the period. Here is Zegras. Works it back to York. And that pass disrupted there by Lundell. Zegras feeds it across. There's Kaliev, unloads and ripped it wide. Zegras. Kaliev teed up again. Feeds it back to Zegras. Now Caufield a chance, and Perrin got a glove on that.
Kaliev and Caufield are not shy here to shoot this one-timer.
Zegras to York, back across. Zegras pounded it wide.
Gordon saw this in the first game. It was Austria and Switzerland, but a 5-on-3 that missed the net 3 times. That puck's got to get on the net.
Boldy feeds it back to Zegras. Across the Caufield, and collided there with York. And now York has it back. 10 seconds to go in the first Finnish penalty. Kaliev feeds it across. York across the secret with a hard shot. Kiernan makes a stop. Now Boldy throws it back in front. Kaliev shoots, scores! Not a rocket from Arthur Kaliev, but it gets the job done. And with 5 seconds to go in the first period, the game is tied. And that's a 5-on-4 goal, so the teams are back to even strength.
Well, not the one-timer that he missed the net on. Arthur Kaliev is going to show off his delivery of the puck here. This pass is going to catch him from behind on his back foot. Matthew Boldy's going to hang on to the puck and find Kaliev in the slot. And you see him kind of stumble a little bit. His feet get really tight together. But he's so strong, he can sweep this through the 5-hole of Kiernan. And Kaliev, who had 5 tallies in last year's tournament, gets one in the warm-up game here, and it's 1-1.
Scored 44 goals in 57 games last year for Hamilton in the American League. And a collision in front of the American bench as the horn sounds. Moynihan in there with Hellenius. And so, some ill will on the opening day of pre-tournament competition. 1-1 the score after the opening 20 minutes. Our first edition coming up. You're watching the World Junior Warm-Up for the 2021 tournament here in Edmonton.
Character, integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
Sophomore Slump, the new album from the Reclaws, available now. And Roots, the World Junior song, available everywhere you listen to music.
It's back. Tangerine Raptors basketball tips off tomorrow with regular season action as the Pelicans go up against the Raptors. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on TSN. Well, what a first period that was between Finland and the U.S. Thanks for joining us here. Craig and Laura back with you once again. And, you know, talking about rust and nerves. That was pure adrenaline, pure excitement out of that. And we had action right off the hop.
Yeah, interestingly, it all starts with a penalty by Arthur Kaliev. And, you know, it's one of those things that coaches are always trying to impress on their players. You know what? Be careful when you're skating behind a player, because you can only get yourself in trouble when you extend your arms, and that's exactly what happened with Kaliev. And now Finland quickly gets a power play early in the game, gets a chance to handle the puck. Niemela, the Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, makes a real nice pass over to Parsonen, and it goes right between the legs of Spencer Knight along the ice. But, you know, there's always an opportunity for redemption, and now Arthur Kaliev, he gets an opportunity on the power play, and a power play that was really, really dangerous for Team USA with respect to getting lots of good looks. And they had a lot of opportunities to get some goals, but Arthur Kaliev, he makes no mistake about it. So that's the way to get redemption. And Ray Ferraro talked about it at the beginning of the game about Cole Caufield. Arthur Kaliev and Cole Caufield were two of the very best goal scorers in the 2019 draft. Try dealing with them on a 5-on-3 power play. They are both dangerous.
It was after those first 2 minutes, everything tilted definitely towards the U.S.'s direction, and finally coming through on the power play there with just 5 seconds to go in the period. Well, we were talking about Cole Caufield. Let's hear from him now. Here he is with Ryan Rashok.
Cole, in one of the commercial breaks, we could hear your head coach talking to you guys about how this is for real now, and you got to finish plays and play things right through. I wonder, after quarantine and practice against each other for so long, if it takes a little bit to get back into that game mode.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to take a while. It's our first game for most of us in about 9 months. So, you know, we just try to get into it early, short shifts, and play the right way.
You have an opportunity on the power play. The team ends up getting one. Maybe just talk about the importance of working those kinks out in this kind of a game before the tournament starts.
Yeah, I mean, every game's important. We're taking this one, you know, just like a normal game. So I think we're preparing for the next one. But at the same time, you know, we got to take advantage of this game and use it to the best of our ability.
How are you feeling coming in this year? You've been through this before, and how do you feel about the role you want to play?
Yeah, no, I feel good. You know, coming back after last year, you know, you take what you learned from it, and you know, again, just be the best player you can be every time you step on the ice.
Thanks, Cole.
Thank you.
And some sad news to report to now. USA Hockey Administrator Art Berglund passed away this past Saturday at 80 years old. He worked with the organization mostly as a GM for parts of 5 decades and was on the staff of over 30 U.S. hockey teams, including 8 national junior teams and 6 Olympic hockey teams as well. He has been inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame as well as the IIHF Hall of Fame, and he was a huge influence not only on American hockey but in the international game as well. Our condolences go out to his family. Named its starting goaltender for tomorrow's warm-up versus Russia. We'll check in with Team Canada right after the break.
Jerome McGinley supports the Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund because he knows that when we help kids get on the ice, there's no limit to the power of play. Give an assist. Donate now.
Coverage of the World Juniors on TSN continues tomorrow with another warm-up game, and it's always entertaining when these two meet. It's Canada and Russia, a rematch of last year's gold medal game. You can catch it at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on TSN. And Craig, one of the big questions coming into this tournament, who would be the starting goaltender for Canada? Well, one warm-up game, and we have the answer.
Yeah, he'll start the warm-up game. That's Devon Levi from Northeastern University, the Junior A Player of the Year last season with the Carleton Place Canadians. And, I mean, he was at the World Junior A Challenge, got Canada East to the gold medal game. He was lights out brilliant, a fantastic semifinal win against the USA. A couple of these players were on that team, Brendan Brisson included. Some of the Russian players, it took an overtime goal by Shakir Mukhamadullin, who's playing for Russia in this tournament, to finally beat him. He's got confidence, he's got great athletic ability, and I think what you need to play in this tournament is just a sense of calm and an assuredness, and Devon has that. I'll take you back to midget. In his midget year with the Lac St. Louis Lions, there was a team playing in the midget AAA League, Levy, and they were unbelievable. They lost 2 games the entire season. They were going to rock and roll to the TELUS Cup. Well, Lac St. Louis went in there and they beat Levy, and it was an unbelievable upset. So he is not unfamiliar with the pressure, but more importantly, he is familiar with emerging on the other side of it successfully.
7th round draft pick by the Panthers this year, and we found out he's got a relationship with Roberto Luongo. The two have been texting leading up to this tournament as well. So we know who Canada will face in the warm-up game. That would be Russia on Wednesday. When we look at the rest of the schedule, we know they'll be playing the team we're watching here right now, and that would be Finland.
Well, they will be, and that will be their next meaningful game after Russia. And what you're trying to do is get yourself prepared, not only for that game, but going into January 2nd, which is the quarterfinal. Let's not forget that last year at the tournament, Canada won their first game, lost their second game, worst loss in World Junior hockey history, and then they rolled 5 straight to the gold medal. It's all about how you get better. So that's what they got to do. The Russian game will be really good for them to get ready for these games. I can guarantee you this, head coach Andre Chordny, not going to let any of those bad habits slip in during those 3 games, because it is about preparation and getting ready as you prepare for the quarterfinal with the goal of winning the gold.
So outside of Finland, the 3 other teams in the group are 0-50-1 against Canada. I know anything can happen, but 0-50-1.
No.
No? Okay. All right.
0-53-1 at the end of this tournament.
Well, we had a very entertaining first period between Finland and the U.S., all knotted up at a goal apiece.
Here's your first period scoring summary. Juuso Parssinen scored in the power play 1 minute and 26 seconds in to give the Finns the lead. Then with 6 seconds to go in the period, Arthur Kaliev gets his first of the warm-up round. There's only 1 game for each team, and it's 1-1 after 1 period of play. Gord Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. What advantage to this version of bubble hockey, as we can hear a lot, like Team USA coach Nate Lehman giving his players instructions.
I see 3 guys curl. Okay? We got to start and stop. Playing real hockey now. Playing real hockey. Start and stop.
Real hockey means you get after the puck and you get on there with the body. And I thought the U.S. did a terrific job in the last 10 or 12 minutes of the period in particular. Look how hard they are on the puck. They've got puck support to keep the cycles going. And as Nate Lehman was talking about, when there was a turnover, they stopped and got back to the puck. As a result of this, the U.S. had the last 13 shots of that first period. They got on the power play multiple times and eventually get the Kaliev goal to tie the game at 1.
Teams start this second period 5-on-5. We've got new officials as well, as we'll get new referees and linesmen every period in this World Junior Championship warm-up today and tomorrow. Tomorrow night, of course, we'll have Canada taking on the Russians in warm-up action.
These new refs every period. I would have had a tough time knowing who I was angry with.
I know. You know what? That might have worked for you.
It could have.
Bygones be bygones. And now Kaliev, after Heinola fanned on that, Kaliev feeds across. Let's run. His centering pass is broken up by Heinola. Jackson Lacombe winds his way in. Lacombe, a second-round pick of the Anaheim Ducks in 2019. Beals back in the corner. Lacombe, centering pass. Zegras with it. Zegras feeds it across. Caufield scores! Cole Caufield rockets it home. And a minute and 4 seconds into the second period, Team USA has grabbed the lead.
See the little mark on Cole Caufield where he took a high stick in the first period. He had a couple of scoring chances. And after a disappointing tournament last year where he didn't play a lot, had just 1 goal, this is what Caufield does. He says he's most dangerous in the offensive zone without the puck. He starts out towards the blue line, and while Zegras is controlling the puck, Caufield works from the right all the way over to the left. He creates the pass lane by finding the open spot, and Zegras puts it on the tape, and it's 2-1 U.S. Zegras has a couple assists already to go with a 9 that he had last year in the tournament.
Led the tournament last year with those 9 assists and really passed the puck. A terrific freshman year at BU last year, then signed with Anaheim at the end of the year. So I feel like a number of these players happy to hear the National Hockey League will be back in early 2021. Long point shot taken by Topi Niemelä. And Caufield comes hard after it. Caufield picks up the loose puck. Caufield shovels it across to Sanderson. Jake Sanderson spins off Lambert, feeds it down to Caufield, works back in front of backhand shot, scores! Cole Caufield, 2 goals on 1 shift. And the U.S. leads 3-1.
35 seconds apart. Cole Caufield has got a couple. And the U.S. on the late goal from Kaliev to tie it in the first gets 2 really quick ones here in the second off the stick of Caufield. There's a little bit of Jake Sanderson's skating ability to keep the puck alive inside the blue line. And Caufield will rip this backhander up over top of the blocker. Second goal in a row, though, where Caufield's feet are never stopped in the offensive zone. He slides from one side to the other. This time takes it on his forehand to his backhand. And there's a pair. And the U.S. is up by those 2.
Caufield holds the U.S. National Team Development Program single-season record for goals, breaking the mark set by Austin Matthews, and holds the all-time record for NDDP goals, previously held by Phil Kessel.
Montreal Canadian fans are going to be pretty happy with that last shift to Caufield.
Ryan Niemi, his shot is blocked. And Ryan Niemi back with it. Feeds across to Vero. And Vero banks it down to the American zone. Team USA looked good early on in the World Junior last year. Beat the Russians 3-1. Were very impressive. Kaliev scored twice. Well, we mentioned that quarterfinal loss to the Finns, 1-0. A game in which they could not break through. The gold medal game in 2019 in Vancouver saw the Finns hold a 2-0 lead. In the third period, the U.S. tied it up, and then Kakko scored the game-winning goal, which was over a minute to go in the third. Kakko, of course, is eligible to play in this tournament, but is busy with the New York Rangers. Jack Quinn could play for Team USA, but will be joining Jersey in training camp in early January.
Jack Hughes.
I said Jack Quinn.
I said Jack Quinn.
Jack Quinn's here for
tomorrow. He'll play tomorrow.
You know what? Quinn Hughes, Jack Quinn. That's bound to cause trouble. Now in comes Brink, tees it up and shoots. And Piernan able to make the stop.
Took me a second to catch up to that. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. Cole Caufield in his second year at the University of Wisconsin. You see that he had 36 points in 36 games last year in Wisconsin, and they talked to him about being a little bit more of a complete player, not just stand and wait for your shot, but to help create it by your movement in the offensive zone. He's hunting pucks a little better, and I think we saw two really good examples of how smart his offensive instincts are in the offensive zone. Not standing, helping create the place for the puck to come, and then having the skill to finish it.
Kaliev turned away. Zegras missed on the rebound. Caufield is listed at 5'7", 163 pounds. But the numbers that mattered, 19 goals at Wisconsin last year. Now Turcotte winds his way in. Drops for Kaliev. In, shoots, and that took a bite out of the man who blocked it, Mikko Kokkonen.
A couple of blocks for Kokkonen tonight.
Hunter Skinner along wrist shot that got through, and Piernan makes the stop. Carson, who opened the scoring in this game, digs for it in the corner. 3-1, Team USA with the lead. Can't wait for Christmas night. Team USA against Russia is the nightcap on the opening day of the tournament. We'll see Russia against Canada tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 o'clock Pacific. Now Boldy picks up the loose puck. He's got Caufield streaking ahead. Caufield had that skip off his stick. Streaks in, drops it back. And that's tipped away by Nikita.
If Boldy's pass is a half a foot shorter, it's a breakaway for Caufield.
Lambert in, he falls. Back they come again. Caufield was streaking ahead. That was knocked down, loose in front. The shot was blocked as Nikita couldn't get that through. Beniers cross to Caufield, in, shoots, and Piernan makes a stop on that. Caufield looking again, a jam play at the side of the goal. Piernan saving the rebound as well. Cole Caufield like he was shot out of a cannon here to start the second period.
What a great start to this period for Caufield. He wasn't able to get into the rotation really regularly last year. It's funny what a year does, Gord. You've been doing this tournament forever, 10 years for me, and man, a year-to-year change in a player is really remarkable to see.
Faber back forward, a bouncing puck. He got spun around. Now Colangelo digs it free. And it's brought ahead by Berard. Brett Berard. Lead pass for Colangelo. Got crunched along the sideboards. Now Colangelo throws that back to Lacombe. Farber along wrist shot. Faber, rather, had that block. And now Faber has to retreat as the puck bounces back to center ice. Brock Faber from Maple Grove, Minnesota. He's an LA Kings draft pick. Who is it? They've got 9 prospects playing in the World Junior as it stands right now.
Had 9 last year as well. .5 to go here in the second period. Tournament begins on Christmas Day this year. All the games we played here. There'll be no overlap of games, so we'll get to see everyone. And now a penalty being called. A tripping call will come with 13:16 to go here in the period. Cole Caufield's got a pair, and the U.S. leads 3-1. Landon Slaggert, a third-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks who plays at Notre Dame, gets called here for the penalty, and the Finns, who gave up a late power play goal after scoring an early power play goal in the first period, will get another chance, their second, to try and half this U.S. lead.
On the right, Tuomo Rutsu, one of the assistant coaches for Team Finland. Long-time NHL player. Face off, won by the U.S. and sent back Center ice by Drew Hellison. And here is Billy Hanel, picked 20th overall by the Winnipeg Jets in the 2019 draft. Played 8 games for the Jets last year in the NHL, scored his first NHL goal. Now Hanel moves it back across, and the shot taken there by Hirvonen. That stopped, and Hanel back with it. There's pitch and catch with Hirvonen. Hanel back across to Lundell, shoots, and that goes off a skate over the glass and out.
And that play spun around at the blue line by Ville Heinola. You mentioned a Winnipeg Jets first-round draft choice in 2019, the 20th pick. Heinola made the team out of camp, a real impressive training camp, but he's playing 18 to 20 minutes where he is now in the Finnish Elite League. A pretty heady player, reminds a lot of people of Toby Enstrom. Doesn't use the big long stick that Toby Enstrom used to use. The thing was a pole vault.
Now Skinner a long shot. That's knocked over the glass. There's no mesh over the glass, so the puck goes into the stands.
Yeah, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
One of the referees here today is Carter Sandlack. That name sound familiar? Well, his dad, Jim Sandlack, a.k.a. House, was the top forward of the 1986 World Junior Championship in Hamilton. And Carter is one of the 14 referees and 12 linesmen working this tournament. All the officials are Canadian. And we're getting a different officiating group each period in the warm-up games here because they, like the players, haven't had a chance to get loose, get working. Parson winds in. Minute to go now in the Finnish power play. Lambert reaching for it. Doesn't turn 17 till January.
Got 4 goals in the Finnish Elite League this year.
As a 16-year-old. Picked up by Niemela. Niemela takes the return pass, winds and shoots off a skate. That goes wide. Lambert digging for it. And it's knocked out by Hirvonen. Here's Lambert. Pass in front, just missed the stick of Nikkanen. Now the long shot, score! Topi Niemela takes the shot, not as deflected in front. It's a power play goal, and the Finns are back within 1.
2 power play goals for the Finns. Both of them with Henry Nikkanen standing right on top of the goal crease in front of Spencer Knight. There's Nikkanen 28. He misses this first pass, a nice play by Lambert, but when the puck goes back to the point, he engages right in front of Knight. Knight's got to guess where the puck is because he can't see it. The first goal was a Niemela to Parssinen pass. This one, Parssinen to Niemela, and it's 3-2.
And that's straight in. So 2 power play goals for the Finns. And we've talked about this for a decade, Ray. They do their damage on special teams, the Finns, when they're successful. We saw it in the World Championship in 2019 when they had an unheralded team that won the gold medal.
They check you into submission, they never go away, and their special teams are good. It's the same formula all the time.
Now, Helenius moves in, bouncing puck in front. Knight swept that away. Here's Helenius back with it. Back to Hanel. Long shot, that bounced down in front. Boldy. Thanks for Ziegler ahead to Caufield. That was knocked down by Hattaka. But that was a breakaway for Cole Caufield.
And that's twice this period he's been behind the defense, and the Finns haven't found him in time.
And there's Hanel back with it. Sanderson knocks Simon-Tybel off the puck. Now away comes Moynihan. Patrick Moynihan in, shoots. That's knocked away by Pirinen. And now a steal for the Finns. Poke free by Järventie. In comes Järventie, and he's poke check on a great defensive play. Coming back for the U.S. was Brock Faber. Vero gains center ice, jumps across the line for Lundell. Anton Lundell got bumped there by Lacombe. And now Vero swings that wide. Centering pass bounced off the stick of Lundell. And Brett Berard has it back. Plays for head coach Nate Lehman at Providence College. And is a native of Rhode Island. We're told he's not related to Brian Berard, who's one of the most famous NHL players from Rhode Island, from Woonsocket. Now working in as Beniers in, and a chance turned away by Tiernan.
That was a pretty cool play by Beniers. He lost his stick and he had to corral it as he was still skating forward. He ended up making a play on it.
Carsonen rings that around. 9.5 to go in the second period. Knocked down by Lambert. Now Brad Lambert. Centering pass swept away by Knight. And Beniers swings back for it.
Oh, what a nice play again.
And again.
He's not shy, I'll tell you that. He's stick handling in a phone booth right in front of the net. Will be a high first-round pick, it appears.
Doesn't have to wear the full cage, as he's a late 2002-born player. And fired in by Hatakka. Thrun feeds it across. And now Thrun gathers it back up. Feeds ahead, fired in by Farinacci. Ratti couldn't clear it out. Now it's knocked down again by Thrun. Ratti back with it. Chips it ahead to Heinola jumping into the rush. Heinola works in. Knight sweeps that away. Kleppen banks it back across to Thrun. Colangelo, a centering pass out of the reach of Farinacci. Run back in by Oaxaca. A sharp angle shot taken there by Mantekivi, swept away easily by Knight. Mantekivi back at the point for Niemela. Now Vero can't get a shot away. Colangelo works it free. And away comes Turcotte. One-on-one against Niemela. And Niemela reaches back and knocks that away from Turcotte. Turcotte spins it back for Zegras. A sharp angle shot. Piernan makes the stop and on the rebound. And now Vero back with it.
Crafty play by Zegras right along the goal line. He almost gets Parson up high on the short side.
Vero wounded by Turcotte, but kept alive at the line for the moment by York. Now Niemela swings back for the Toronto third-round pick. These are there for Vero. Vero, as we mentioned, a Detroit draft, a third-round pick in 2020. Niemela snaps that pass, rink one. It's out of the reach of Järventie, and icing called against Finland.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Bet99.net, Canada's newest destination for free sports information, odds, and casino. Every game starts at Bet99.
Days leading up to Christmas here in Edmonton. The tournament will be held here next year as well. And fingers crossed and hope that next year these stands will be full of screaming fans. But the setup so far here has been terrific. Of course, Edmonton has experience with the NHL bubble. These players, though, do not, for the most part. Only a handful do, but it's something to adjust to.
Yeah, Thomas Harley from Team Canada was here with Dallas in the summer.
Järventie spins back. Robbie Järventie, an Ottawa second-round pick.
Kirby Dach as well was here with the Blackhawks. Yeah. Had a nice series against the Oilers. And
in comes Beniers with it now. Drops it back to Caufield. Boldy back for Caufield. Chips it on goal. And the save is made by Piernan, who's seen enough of Cole Caufield in this period.
What a slick play by Boldy, but there's Caufield again, going to the net, off the puck, finding the open space to have another scoring chance. That's at least 4 chances this period for Caufield.
Now Boldy lifts it high in the air for Brink, who tries to knock that down. Brink Bumps Koponen off the puck. Putio plays it around, but that's knocked down. The puck shoveled back in front by Ryan Johnson. And Corhonin gloves that. 3-2, the U.S. leads here in the second period. Tangerine Raptors basketball tips off tomorrow with regular season action as the Pelicans go up against the Raptors. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. Got a goalie change for Team USA here in Edmonton. Another returning player for the U.S. is Dustin Wolf, the Calgary 7th round pick from 2019. Played one game last year in a win against Germany. Wolf plays for Everett in the Western Hockey League. Hasn't played this year, of course, as the 3 Canadian junior leagues are all awaiting the start of their schedules. He was the Western League and Canadian Hockey League Scholastic Player of the Year in 2019. He replaces Knight. And back to pick it up is Hataka. He gets taken down. Corhonin remains in the finish goal. And pokes that puck away. As Nikkonen tries to clear it out. Can't. Now penalty coming. As Hainlick touches up, the official's whistle didn't work. And now tripping will be the call against the Finns.
Team Finland, number 2, 2 minutes tripping.
Santeri Hataka is a San Jose 6th round pick. Plays for Ilves Tampere in the Finnish Elite League.
5th power play for the United States. You'll see the trip right there as his stick gets into the feet of Brett Berard.
So the U.S. 1 for 4 on the power play with 11 shots on those 4-man advantages. Caufield back to Zegras. U.S. did have a long 5-on-3 at the end of the first period. Scored just after it ended. It was a 5-on-4 goal. And then Caufield with the 2 quick strikes here at even strength in the second period. He's back out there now in the American power play as Boldy drops it back to York. Kaliev swings it back across. That pass missed Boldy. And on his backhand, Brad Yemi clears that into the American bench. The faceoff will stay in the Finnish zone.
A couple of goals in this period for Cole Caufield. We've gotten a glimpse of his abilities to find some open space. And when he gets it, he doesn't miss very often. A couple of really nice goals for him in the period and close a couple other times.
His coach at Wisconsin is Tony Granato, your old pal and brother-in-law. He talked to us about how Caufield came back along with Turcotte with something to prove. They felt disappointed with their World Junior last year, and they took it out on their college opponents down the stretch last year before the season was ended.
Both of them felt that there was a lot of unfinished business in the tournament. 1 goal for Caufield, just 2 assists for Turcotte in the 5 games that they played. Turcotte went to Berlin at the start of the year to train, and while he was over there, he actually got COVID, had to come back home after quarantine. But since then, he's been in LA working with the Kings development staff. There's up to 20 guys there that are, skating and getting ready for the season. So he's had plenty of time to get ready after returning from Germany.
5th overall pick in the 2019 draft by the LA Kings. And now Zegras moves his way in. Zegras will be his NHL rival down the freeway in Anaheim, as that's knocked back down the ice. Oh, look out. Wolf turned the puck over. Scooped up there by Putia. And Putia tied up by York. And now it's brought up by Lacombe. Lacombe drops it back to Turcotte. Winding in. Turcotte tried to drop that back. Now picked up by Zegras. Here's Brink with it. Bobby Brink swings it back to Zegras. Zegras works in, spins and flips it back to York. Back to Zegras, a sharp angle. Zegras flips it back across the Kaliev. York shoots. That was blocked and hit Polenius in the foot. And now Zegras spins and fires. The save is made by Corhonin. Brink feeds it back across, and York can't hold the line. 3 to go here in the second period. Kaliev got tied up there by Vero. In comes Lundell. Anton Lundell lost the puck, now chips it back ahead to Lambert, but the extra move puts him offside at the American line. 3-2, Team USA leads.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Back here in Edmonton, there's Nate Lehman, the head coach. His assistants are Ted Donato, Chris Mayotte, Steve Miller, and the video coach is Teresa Feaster, who will speak with our Laura Dyke in between periods. Grew up around the game. Her dad, Jay Feaster, the former GM of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Calgary Flames. Face-off now back in the U.S. zone with 2:42 to go. One thing we saw in the bubble during the NHL was because there's no meshing around the two ends, they started running out of pucks the first couple of games. They only bring 32 to a game, and of course you can't retrieve them once they go into the stands, so had to bring extra batches. Now the puck chipped back in front, and Wolf hangs on to that. Wolf had a .935 save percentage last year in Everett and 9 shutouts. That franchise is famous for turning out top-end goaltenders.
I played one time last year, as you mentioned, Gord, a 6-3 win against Germany, but kind of bad timing. You get to the tournament, your time in the World Juniors, and you got Spencer Knight sitting there as well.
Here a long shot, and Wolf eats that up. He's from Gilroy, California, the garlic capital of the United States. I know that because Jeff Garcia, the former CFL and NFL quarterback, is from Gilroy. He's quite proud of his roots there. We mentioned 14 different states represented on this U.S. team, including Georgia, California.
You know, I don't know how long ago it was, Gord. Maybe it was a decade where that was really it seems so strange to have so many states represented. Now it just seems like the regular thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like the game is spread.
A lot of it is knocked down.
A lot of it tied, I think, to when Gretz was traded to Los Angeles, and
the whole shot turned away.
The whole generation of people got turned on to hockey, and their kids began to play. And
well, it used to be the 3 M's, right? Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota would account for the bulk of the teams, but now it's brought out by Henry Thrun.
Gord, we talked about Caufield scoring. That was a really good defensive play he helped with. Came back on the play, hard on the puck, and they're out of trouble again. One way to score is to get out of your end as fast as you can. That's a growth part of his game.
Schlaggert spins it down, and taken down behind the goal is Patrick Moynihan. Minute and a half to go here in the second period. Back at the point is Skinner with a shot that pinballed up a couple legs and wide. And Moynihan feeds it back, and the hard shot taken there by Clement is blocked. Now moved down by Nikkanen. That shot by Nikkanen blocked, and Skinner sends it rink wide and finds Farinacci. Farinacci's shot goes wide. And now Heinola back with it. In the tournament, we'll likely see Heinola up around 30 minutes a night for Team Finland. Moved in by Putia. Heinola swings back and knocks that away from Zegras. Now Zegras loose in the corner with it. Spins it back in front. Heinola took that away again. Heinola's lead pass is knocked down by York at center ice.
No stick! No stick!
Kaliev shrugs off Hellenius in the corner. And now Zegras back with it. Final seconds now in the second period. Cam York jumps in. The defenseman got spun around there by Kokkonen. Kaliev Back to Sanderson. His shot goes off a leg. And the United States will go to the dressing room with a 3-2 lead after 40 minutes of play in this World Junior warm-up leading up to the opening of the tournament on Christmas Day. Our second intermission is coming up as you're watching pre-tournament action for the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton.
For more than 80 years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
What better way to say Merry Christmas? The final week of the NFL regular season gets underway Christmas Day with a matchup between the Vikings and the Saints. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TSN and also on CTV2, Canada's home for the NFL. So it's the U.S. holding the 1-goal lead after 40 minutes of play. And Craig, I think Montreal Canadiens fans salivating a little bit after that because it was all Cole Caufield. You know, he had disappointing World Juniors last year, just 1 goal scored. Came into this one saying he had a lot more confidence and definitely showing up here tonight.
Absolutely. 2-goal Cole got them in front, 3-2. So, I mean, when you watch Cole Caufield play, the first word that comes to mind is dangerous. And he knows how to make himself dangerous very quickly. And that's what you have to do to be a really good goal scorer. You need the finishing skills, but if you don't understand how to get open and when to get open, it doesn't matter what else. He knows how to do that. Breaks open here on a breakaway, doesn't get it, but he's on the puck and he's moving around, probing, trying to find those areas where he can take full advantage of his skills. He comes from below the goal line. It's where his hands are. It's not where his skates are. And then he's able, with the goaltender deep in the net, to throw it right over his right shoulder. And then the way he changes the angle, quick move, backhand right to the forehand, and he's shooting in one motion, and then he gets in and around the net at the right timing. Cole Caufield does not let himself get tied up unnecessarily. We can talk about him being not tall. Doesn't matter because he doesn't have to engage on other players' terms. He plays on his terms, and those terms are one that make him a player that is so dangerous when the puck's on his stick.
He's above 5'7", right? What did you say? 5'7" and a quarter.
5'7" and a quarter.
That quarter is very, very important. Cole Caufield, one of 8 returning players from the United States. From last year's World Juniors, disappointing finish. They finished in 6th, which ended a 4-year medal streak at the tournament, which was the longest in program history. We are pleased now to welcome in Teresa Feaster, who is very busy here in the Edmonton bubble. She is Team USA's video coach. Outside of the bubble, she's busy as well, the director of hockey operations at Providence, where she gets to work with Team USA head coach Nate Lehman. Teresa, we're so happy to have you here, and you're making some history here in Edmonton. The first female assistant coach ever at the World Juniors, first female assistant coach ever when it comes to USA hockey, and a major men's championship. When you hear me say that, what does that mean to you?
It's incredible. I mean, just to be a part of this tournament is really an honor and something that I was really thrilled to do. And obviously a little bit of a larger significance on top of it as well. But right now, just here and, focused on working hard and getting going.
Yep, we'll be getting going in just a couple of days here, Christmas Day for the U.S. So what exactly is your role and responsibility with the team in the bubble?
Right now, just helping out with the video, just making sure that everything's in line with that as far as what the coaches need, whether that's putting clips together or pre-scouting or tagging live, just making sure that all those ducks are in a row and whatever they need they have so we can be best prepared.
Now, I know you spoke recently to TSN's Frank Saravalli. You were talking about some of your goals, including winning a Stanley Cup and becoming the first general manager in the NHL. Your father, he won a Stanley Cup in his day as well. So how will this experience here in Edmonton kind of move you along the path towards reaching those goals?
I mean, this is such an incredible tournament, and it's one that everyone looks forward to every year. And the hockey is such a high level. Every game is going to be a great game, and I think that experience is something that'll help everybody grow, and it'll be great for all of us.
We're kind of in this moment right now with women breaking barriers when it comes to sports. Kim Eng last month in November was named the general manager of the Miami Marlins. When it comes to college football, there was Sarah Fuller with Vanderbilt kicking field goals, kicking extra points, and now you're getting set to make your World Junior debut on Christmas Day. How do you describe this moment in time now with women in sports?
I think it's great. I think every time you see something like that, it's really inspirational, and it sets a great example for all the women that are working really hard in sports right now and will be in the future. And I hope to just be a very small part of that going forward.
Well, Teresa, we really appreciate you doing this with us today, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What do we call him? Two-goal Cole? Cole Caufield, a one-man show in that second period, said he wanted to bring the offense to the table this World Juniors. So far, so good.
Proud premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
Well, let's show you what happened earlier in the World Junior warm-up game between Switzerland and Austria. Still zeros on the board here in the first. Swiss with the odd man rush, and it's Gaetan Jobin scoring on a beautiful feed. All tied up now. Late goings of the second, and some more nice passing from the Swiss. And it's Inaki Barragano, the lucky recipient of that. Nice pass. The Swiss are up 2-1. The pass of the day, though, went to the Austrians. Matthias Baum, no look through the legs. Leon Wallner making no mistake. The Swiss win this one 3-2. Going back to our game here, Finland and the U.S. Here is Ville Heinola now with Ryan Rashok.
Well, Ville, a tough challenge for your team in this pre-tournament game in facing the U.S. Do you like the opportunity to play a team like the United States before the tournament gets going and really test yourselves?
Yeah, of course. This is good for us. For the first game now, we had a big break before this, so it's good to play some tough games now.
Third World Junior Hockey Championship for you. You won a gold a couple of years ago. Do you have a sense for just how different it might be this time around, given the bubble, given the empty stands? Do you get an early sense of how different this experience will be?
Yeah, like quarantine a lot, but every year is different, and a new team and new guys, so it's always different.
How do you feel about this team compared to the other two you played on?
I think this is the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than the gold medal team?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we shall see. Thanks, Ville.
Thank you.
Ooh, I like it. Well, if the first two periods were any indication, we're in for a show in the third period. The U.S. holding that one-goal lead.
Second period got to a flying start for Cole Caufield, who scored twice, 35 seconds apart. On assists from Trevor Zegras and Jackson Lacombe on the first, and Jake Sanderson on the second. Then Topi Niemela on the power play, drawing the Finns back within one. The shots were 9-6 U.S. in that second period, 25-13 overall. Gord Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. We know this, Ray. If the Finns have a good tournament, it'll likely be because they have a good power play.
Always have relied on the man advantage. They have a rather simple approach to the power play. They want to get pucks to the front of the net. They've done it for years, and it's been really successful for them. Tonight, 2 power plays and 2 power play goals. Both of them the same. Niemela finds Parsonen on the first one, and this is Niemela's shot that's going to come from the point. The similarity is it goes both of them right through Henry Niikanen, number 28, who's standing on top of the goal crease. Spencer Knight has to look around him twice. Each time he can't find it. Look at him look right. The puck goes by left, and the Finns are on the board twice. A simple screen in front of the net is done to perfection by Niikanen, and the first shot by Parsonen, the second one by Niemela, and we've got a 1-goal game heading into the third period.
New set of officials, Michael Campbell and Alexander Garon are the referees. Terrington Wyanzek and Maxime Chaput are the linesmen. And the teams start this third period 5-on-5. There will be overtime and a shootout tonight. I'm not psychic. Regardless of the score, there will be overtime and a shootout as practice for these teams. As Zegras moves in, feeds it back in front. That pass just missed Kalya. And now Kalya back in the corner with it. Looks down to Turcotte. He gets loose. Turcotte drops it back. And that pass handcuffed Henry Thrun. And now Thrun back for it. Played at Harvard last year, but this year he's playing in the USHL while he waits the return of college hockey. As Zegras winds his way and drops it back to Turcotte, moves in, rolls off his stick. And that's knocked away. And a new Finnish goaltender, Rupe Tappanen, is on now for the Finns. He played this building before in the 2018 Helinka Gretzky Summer Under-18 tournament. In fact, more than 60 players for the upcoming World Junior played in that 2018 Helinka Gretzky Cup. Now a centering pass, and Parsonen just missed the intended target there. Now Parsonen and Rocky crisscrossing. Boldy picks it out now for Team USA. Boldy drops it back. And swinging back to pick it up is Jackson Lacombe, who plays at the University of Minnesota. Bob Motzko, the head coach there, former head coach of the U.S. national junior team. Now plays called at the finish line. Icing called. And there is Rupe Tappanen, 19-year-old who plays for Espoo in the Finnish second league, the Mestis League. He's got a .928 save percentage there. Interesting he would be playing tonight because it's widely expected that Kiernan and Joel Blomqvist, who's a second-round pick of Pittsburgh, would be the 1-2 tandem for the Finns. Kutia swings that down. Corhonin, he couldn't quite reach it. Both these teams have 22 skaters dressed tonight. When a tournament begins, it's 20 skaters, 2 goaltenders. And the rosters are expanded for this year's World Junior, of course, because of the COVID outbreak. And so teams have extras on hand should they be required. The rosters will be declared on Christmas Eve.
So even in a game like this, it's, while the rosters are set, it's fight for your spot on the team. Try and help your standing a little bit.
Long shot powdered high by Ryan Yemi. 3 teams still have cuts to make. So some players will be going home on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Matias Rajaniemi, Islander 6th-round pick, flips that down to the U.S. zone, picked up there by Ryan Johnson. Now Johnson banks it ahead for Sam Colangelo. His pass broken up by Helenius at center ice, and Helenius feeds it back down to the American zone. Dustin Wolf, who came on in relief of Spencer Knight midway through the second period. Bumped that across. Colangelo works his way in. So the candle will be burning late for coaches that have decisions to make on rosters this late in the process. Brink sends it down. Loose puck in front, jamming away out of 2 good chances there. And Farinacci turned away as Tappanen held his ground. You take them both, as you can hear.
As they get this sorted out, we take a look at the 8 players back for the United States. It would have been 9, but John Beecher was not able to play as he tested
Finland,
positive.
number 22, minor penalty, roughing. USA, minor penalty, number 25, minor penalty, roughing.
Beecher tested positive just a day before the U.S. was declaring their team and flying here to Edmonton.
Right.
So that left Nate Lehman with a shuffled roster, but 8 of them back is a significant number. A young team last year, a talented team that came up short. They fell flat in that 1-0 loss in the quarters.
They can still bring 7 back from this team next year. An interesting mix for Team USA. Knight in his 3rd World Junior as a goaltender for Team USA. He was the 3rd goaltender in Vancouver, Victoria in 2019. Did not see game action. Santeri Hatakka lost the puck on the forecheck. And now Zegras drops it up to Turcotte. Weber was jumping into the rush as well.
Easy stick. Good, good.
Now Johnson goes back, take away from him by Yarventi. And Wolf steers that away. Zegras winds his way in, drops it back to Clevin. Now scooped up by Anton Lundell, the Finnish captain. Missed last year, turned as Ray mentioned, winds his way in and shoots, and Wolf makes the stop on a streaking Anton Lundell.
That's a nice rush for Lundell, and you mentioned earlier he has 12 goals in 17 games playing for IFK Helsinki in the Finnish Elite League. Makes a nice little move through Drew Hellison here in a little flip shot. He's trying to just wedge this over top of the left shoulder of Dustin Wolf. Wolf keeps his feet long enough and then shrugs up the left shoulder to make the stop. Lundell's going to be a player at the NHL level, I think, that's not going to score quite as much as he is right now, but a player that makes contributions around the game. He's going to be a penalty killer. He's going to be a matchup center. He's a smart player.
He's a gold medalist for the Finns in the under-18s in 2018. Finns have had all kinds of success in IHF competition on the men's side. We mentioned that Lundell is number 2 in the Finnish Elite League in goal scoring. Another Florida Panther prospect. We mentioned under-18 goal in 2018, and the World Junior in 2019. The Finns won the World Junior and the World Championship in 2019. In 2016, or 2018 rather, they won the under-18s. And that came a year after they almost pulled off the first triple ever. They won the under-18s, won the World Junior, and they lost the gold medal game to Canada at the World Championship. No teams ever won all 3 in the same year.
They do the same thing all the time. Like, they consistently punch above their weight. They seem to play all the same. So they move the parts around, yet forever they were a goaltending factory.
Right.
Now it's that they can score, they can play. They're a dangerous offensive team.
After Skinner works his way in. And here's Beniers with it. Jam playing the side of the goal, knocked away by Tapinen.
I've been impressed with Beniers. My first look at him and all the hype about the skill of Beniers. He doesn't look shy. He's handled the puck. He's taken it to the net and created a couple of chances. There's going to be a lot more hoped for from the youngster Beniers, a draft-eligible player this year. Look at him below the goal line, and yet he knows the dangerous ice he's got to get from below to top of the goal line. He's able to get himself there. He's not shy. He was doing this interview thing with the U.S. players and kind of making like a game show or a talk show host. And
he's the youngest guy on the team. Slaggert plays it across to York. Farinacci with it. Farinacci got tied up in the corner. In to help out is Moynihan. Knocked down the line by Skinner. Skinner played for London Knights in the Ontario League. Only 3 CHL players on the American roster. Wolf, the goaltender, is another one. And Wolf knocks that down.
Pretty active back there.
Skinner in his first international tournament for USA Hockey. Up ahead for Turcotte. He got leveled there at center ice as Corhonin knocked him down.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
Icing call against the U.S., and there is Benjamin Corhonin, also making his international debut for his country. It's too bad that the 19-year-olds in this tournament won't get a chance, and pass called off the face-off here, but they won't get a chance to experience the crowd that would be filling this building. An electric World Junior. Well, the World Junior warm-up continues tomorrow with Canada taking on Russia. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on TSN. The future of hockey lives here. Igor Larionov, the head coach of Team Russia, turned 60 earlier this month. And a departure from the predecessor, Valeri Bragin, in temperament, style. Igor wants to take the shackles off and let them go.
Looking forward to watching them play. He wants them to be creative, to let their skill play.
Shot by Corhonin goes high and wide. There was some discussion during that TV timeout about whether or not a penalty would be called against the United States for using their hand on the puck off a face-off. That is a minor penalty under IHF rules. As Turcotte moves ahead with Zegras. In comes Zegras on Corhonin. Zegras, little spin move, drops it back to Sanderson, walking in, shoots short side, and Toppin makes a stop. Another pass by Zegras.
Well, that was pretty creative.
Sanderson winds his way in, drops it back. Kalya to Sanderson. Down to front. Back to Zegras, along wrist shot goes off a skate. And now Zegras crisscrossing with Sanderson. That's knocked down by Corhonin. And Benjamin Corhonin flips it back down to the American zone. 3-2, the U.S. leads. The Finns have a 1-0 lead in the early stages of the first period. The U.S. tied up late in the first and got 2 quick goals from Caufield. 35 seconds apart to grab the lead. As that shooting goes over the glass and out.
A couple assists tonight for Trevor Zegras, and got to find a new lane to find the puck. Well, here's a new one. Spin to the backhand and zip this across to Sanderson, who has a good scoring chance. And I like watching Zegras play. He's such a smart player, and the way that he sees the ice and his ability to find his teammates is really impressive.
Native of Bedford, New York, played 1 year at Boston University. Ranyemi. Lead pass knocked down by Lacombe. And Helenius has it back now for the Finns. Samuel Helenius, the second. Between them, 13 feet of father and son. Knocked down by Faber. He got bumped in behind the goal. Faber stays on it. Helenius takes it back. Now loose at center ice. And the stick of Berard betrayed him. And now Johnson has it back. Johnson slides it ahead. And Boldy flips it back down to the finish zone. Picked up by Heinola. Lead pass finds Lundell. Anton Lundell works in. His pass was broken up by Hellison. Beniers puts it back across to Johnson. The puck gets by Hafika and back down the ice. Ville Heinola plays for Lukko Rauma in the Finnish Elite League. Began the year in the NHL last year with the Winnipeg Jets. Carson came jumping in there, couldn't quite reach it. And now Lambert back with it now. Brad Lambert. High stick caught Järventie in the face. And the puck is loose at center ice. Heinola. Flips it back across. The Finns in the midst of a change. They almost got caught with too many men. And here comes Ratti with it. Aku Ratti shoot, just missed far side. Got back in by Nikkanen. And Niemela comes up to seal the wall. Niemela has to race back as Slaggert was in on him. Ratti had his pocket picked by Slaggert. He moves away from Nikkanen. Niemela. Up ahead for Kutia. Clevin plays it back around. Here's Vero back to pick it up. Midway point now, the third period. As you mentioned, there will be overtime and a shootout regardless of the score at the end of the third period. Moved ahead by Johnson, but not out. And a bouncing puck fired wide.
A lot of the play down at this end of the ice here. The Finns have kicked it up a gear, and the U.S. has not matched it quite yet.
Now Clevin has it knocked down. And Putio plays it back to center ice, and a big hit there by Tyler Clevin. As he barreled over Mantikivi. Zegras for Turcotte. To Kaliev. Kaliev posts up, drops it back, and that shot misfired on by Skinner. And now brought back by Mantikivi. And Clevin stayed with him. Clevin's a big man, 6'4", 201 pounds, an 18-year-old. Picked in the second round by Ottawa. Now brought in Lundell with a backhand shot. And Wolf got a shoulder on that. Kaliev. Up ahead to Boldy. And Boldy banks it down, picks up his own shoot in. Spins back in the corner. At the point is York with a long shot. And a pad save made there by Tappinen, who came across to make that stop. 3-2, the U.S. leads here in the third.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Bet99.net, Canada's newest destination for free sports information, odds, and casino. Every game starts at Bet99.
Back here in Edmonton, a correction and a last-minute change to the format. There will not be overtime and a shootout at the end of this game. Originally discussed letting all the teams practice that end of the game. And on the left, you see there's Ted Donato, Heavy D, former NHL player, now the head coach at Harvard. Of course, his son Ryan Donato, a terrific young NHL player. His nephew, John Farinacci, is playing on this U.S. team. And plays for him at Harvard. Ted always says their arch rival at Harvard isn't Yale, it's the admissions department. Lots of player legs, only a few can get in. Caufield drops it back to Thrun. That shot went wide. Henry Thrun. He was a freshman at Harvard last year. He mentions playing in the USHL this year. Now winding in, a chance tip just wide there by Caufield, looking for the hat trick. And Tappinen pounces on that.
I'm surprised Caufield passed this. He made a nice little toe drag in the slot. I'm not sure he recognized that he had a clean lane to shoot it. He wants to go to the back door to Matthew Boldy. Watch Caufield in the middle. He's going to toe drag here, and he's got room on his backhand. If he takes one more stride, it's him alone. But he wants to go through the traffic to the back door to Boldy, who's actually joined there by Beniers on the backside. And
I don't think Caufield's ever been accused of overpassing.
No, that's why it struck me as even more rare. But a couple of goals in the second period, 2 or 3 other really good chances. Yeah. A noticeable night for Cole Caufield.
And a couple of near breakaways as well that were broken up by the last Finnish defender back. Niemela. Back across to Viro. Now the centering pass hammered on goal. Good chance there for Colangelo. Another chance in front. Farinacci digging for that. And Tappinen makes the stop.
Tappinen's made a couple of good saves here in this third period. He came in relief of Kari Pieronen. Had to be sharp there to make the latest stop. And
you mentioned, though, you know, for the longest time, the story of Finland, whether it was Kari Lehtinen or Tuukka Rask, was always their goaltending. Now, in recent years, it's been Capo Kakko and
Sebastian Aho
and Patrick Laine. And some pretty good defensemen as well.
You just think of some of the teams that won that. You know, they had Ristolainen on the back end, but Teuvo Teravainen up front as well. Some really talented players.
Hard to the end boards for Helenius, who's slow to get to his feet. Now Sanderson brings it back. Jake Sanderson works his way in. In comes Berard with it. Shoots, and that was over the shoulder of Tappinen.
Berard's had a good game. for the U.S. tonight. The Rangers' 5th rounder is kind of a buzzsaw. Just always seems to be in motion.
And Takivi plays it in deep. That's knocked away by Wolf. Waiting for it is Berard. His dad, David Berard, was a goalie at Providence. Is now the coach at Holy Cross. And Lundell knocks that down, but it was a hand pass call with 6:26 to go here in the 3rd period.
Well, the game is squeezed up and tightened up. The chances that were so readily available earlier are not there now. I would say both coaches are probably pretty happy with this being their only tune-up before the tournament.
Yeah, it's been an odd year in so many respects. A lot of these players haven't played much, especially on the U.S. side. And there's the quarantine, the bubble.
And the Finns, speaking of, are going to open up against the Germans, who are only, that's on Christmas night.
Wow.
Germany's going to get out of quarantine on the 24th. So there'll be a tough start for Germany.
So here's how the United States will have its preliminary round of this World Junior Championship. Tough opener against the Russians on Christmas night. Then Austria, the Czech Republic, and close out on New Year's Eve against the Swedes.
Swedes running a 52-game preliminary round winning streak. Seems in jeopardy as they've had just such a real difficult time getting to the starting line here.
Yeah, I mean, at one point their team doctor was running a practice. They'd had so many positive tests. Of course, Thomas Monton, their head coach, tested positive, was not allowed even to come here.
Their top centerman is not available as well.
Yeah.
Yet they've got an unbelievable blue line. They're not going to be a pushover in this
and some forwards like Lucas Raymond and others who are lights out goal scorers.
Well, I read today Mark Masters had done an interview with Alexander Holtz, and stuck in quarantine. He didn't have a ball with him. He was stick handling an orange.
So I'm guessing by day 3 he's drinking orange juice.
It's a good thing it was him, though. He's got good hands. Some other guys there, that orange wouldn't have stood a chance. Wouldn't have got out of day 1.
That long shot drifts wide. I remember Stan Mikita's hockey drill book had a thing where you stick handle an egg. That never worked.
Yeah, maybe he could do it.
Boyle at first. Now loose puck at the finish line, and Pathika back with it.
This is good work here for the U.S. too. Now, how do you defend a 1-goal lead? And remember, these guys haven't played together, so the coaches are trying to find out who they want on the ice at this time, who can play this style comfortably.
Yemela was taken down by Boldy. And Boldy knocked down Kukala. And the puck back down to the finish zone. 4.5 to go here in the 3rd period. Caufield digging for it. And the Yemela back to pick it up. Here comes Helenius with it. He was poke checked there by Helleson. Pass by Vero, that missed the intended target, Helenius. Helleson goes back, he's taking it hard into the end boards by Kohaka. And Helenius spins back with it. Got the puck taken away from him by Brink. Bobby Brink, a centering pass. And Slanger turned away, another chance, that's tapped wide. Skinner down to Brink. Bobby Brink tries to throw that back. And Kokkonen banks it off the glass, but not quite out. York kept it alive for a moment. And now Kokkonen swings back for it. Shots are 36-16 in favor of the United States. And now a chance for Turcotte walking in a backhand shot at the goalpost. What a dash by Turcotte. He's had a couple of good looks here tonight. Lundell back with it. Rink wide he goes to Järventie. That's broken up as Turcotte has it back again. Turcotte throws that wide. Now has it back. Turcotte winds his way in front. He's taken down. And the puck is drawn out by Hirvonen. Lucio. Made that in the feet of Coconut. On the forecheck is Boldy trying to work that freight. Sanderson steps up. Jake Sanderson feeds across to Beniers. Look at Beniers walk in. In shoots the save made by Tapina.
These last two shifts have been excellent. That was a terrific move by Beniers.
In comes Caufield now. Shoots at a sharp angle. Tapina makes a stop. Loose puck in front. Beniers couldn't reach it.
I love that Caufield had the puck at the top, and he was going to find a shot if it took him all day. He ends up going all the way back around the outside to a sharp angle and gets a pretty good scoring chance out of it.
Now Boldy works his way in as the U.S. is changing. Boldy still on it. Shoots from a sharp angle. Topola shut down the near side. Bouncing puck loose in front. And Farinacci couldn't quite reach it. Chopped back in by Lacombe, but the puck was out of play.
Yamaha revs your heart.
Turcotte breaks in off the side. He's got a full head of steam. He finds the puck first before the Finnish defenders and goes up over Tapinen's shoulder and rings it off the crossbar.
Finns have called timeout here with 1:22 to go in the third period. Head coach is Antti Pennanen, first year as the head coach of their national junior team. He's kind of a good luck charm for him. He was an assistant coach in 2016 and 2019. Those are both gold medal winning years for the Finns. They'll open against the Germans on Christmas Day. Then Switzerland the 27th, Slovakia the 30th, and Canada on New Year's Eve.
You would think the Finns get to New Year's Eve looking at that schedule that they'll be perfect by that time. You never know, I guess, but they're, we watched Austria today, and Germany's going to be, Germany's just getting out of quarantine. I mean, I can't even imagine how it's going to be for them. That leaves them the Czechs before they get to Canada.
Czechs have had some good results at the under 18 level in recent years. And the core of those teams is now part of their national junior team. One of the issues for young players in Finland has been so many players that were playing pro in North America have gone back this year that it's bumped a lot of the young Finnish players down the roster a little bit.
Less ice time, less responsibility.
So Heinola will log major minutes for this Finnish team. To the line, but not out. Kept the line by Faber. Slaggert on it. Plays it back in for Brink. Järventie on it now for the Finns. He'll try to get the goalie out as quickly as possible. Niemela drops that back. Lundell fires it in, and netminder Tapinen makes his way down to the Finnish bench. Extra Skeeter comes on. It's Untitled. Moved by Niemela on a race for it. Now Turcotte getting there first. Turcotte looking for help. His teammates are changing. 30 seconds to go in the period. Lundell plays it back around for Untitled. He throws it through the middle. It's picked off by Turcotte, and a good save made in front by Heinola. Time winds down here in the third. Brought back across, a little backhand shot. The man opened the scoring. Carson turned away there. Niemela winds and shoots. That's blocked. A chance down with the empty net. Boldy just misses as the horn sounds, and the United States wins its warm-up game by a score of 3-2.
That was a good hockey game. The U.S. with the 2 Cole Caufield goals, 35 seconds apart in the second period. Turn out to be the difference in the game as the Finns get 2 power play goals, but a well-played tune-up game for both sides.
Next stop for these two teams is Christmas Day. The Finns will take on Germany, and the United States will close out the Christmas Day triple header with a much anticipated game against Russia. These two teams who met in the quarterfinals last year and the gold medal game in 2019, both won by the Finns. And time now for the player of the game presentations and then the U.S. anthem.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Finland est le numéro 7, number 7, Topi Niemela. The best player of Team USA est le numéro 13, number 13, Cole Caufield. Et maintenant pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team USA.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Two warm-up games in the books. We've got 2 more coming your way tomorrow, including Canada versus Russia. That gets underway at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. And then after that, how about Slovakia and the Czech Republic to wrap up the warm-up games, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Well, Cole Caufield, that first-round pick by Montreal, had quite the game, scoring 2 goals in just 35 seconds in that second period. That was the difference. The U.S. taking it 3-2 for Craig Button, Ray Ferraro, and Gord Miller. I'm Laura Dyken. Thanks so much for watching our coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championship right here on TSN.